Welcome back to the Blissful Badger. One of the greatest parts of this hobby is kit bashing. Going back to early years of me collecting models for tabletop wargames, I chose to have some kit bashes because they make the models that you have unique. So, one of my first kit bashes ever was a Tyrannid Hive Tyrant with two twin devourers with brain leech worms, which used to be a weapon option that you could purchase from Forge World. But I chose to use these to make more of a praying mantis style. Over the past 10 years, I've done quite a few other kit bashes, and I find that that is one of the strongest parts of this hobby that keep me going. I have a whole army planned that I want to just do a whole bunch of kit bashes to. And that is the whole purpose of collecting this army. So, what is kit bashing? Kit bashing is taking one kit and modifying it. Nice and simple. But we can break that down into a couple of different categories. So, we have bit swapping. My Tyrannid Hive Tyrant is a bit swap. I took some weapon options from a different kit and I put them on my Flying Hive Tyrant. I believe these particular weapons come from the Turvagon Tyrannifex kit. Then we have the Pain Boy, who needed a new left arm, so I grabbed it from one of the other kits and just gave him an arm. Now he carries a sword. Seems orky. We have my Lictors, who I built from Tyrannid Warriors, Gene Stealers, and the Claws from Hive Tyrants. The Scything Talons are actually larger than the normal warrior ones, and it made a good look for my lictors. This was back when they were still fine cast. And while I was at it, I also made a Red Terror out of a spare Ravener tail, Hive Guard body, and several other Tyrannid bits. My Apothecary is about the same size as a Primaris Apothecary, but he is actually a firstborn Marine. I took pouches from several different kits, the backpack Apothecary bits, and the healing gauntlet from another box, and put them all together and made a unique apothecary. And then I also built a unit of fire dragons out of a box of guardians. And with a little bit of painting, they actually look fairly accurate to the older models. And then we get to the bits modification step. This takes the concept of a bit swap and takes it just a little bit further because you need to modify those bits before you actually attach them to the model. This step, you usually cut up portions of a bit and sometimes need two or three bits to make one. So, a good example is my runt herds. The chain comes from a completely different piece. To attach the arms, I had to use a little bit of sprue goo or shave the angle down. My Terminator Inquisitor and Eversor Assassin are both metal models that I was missing an arm for. So, with a little bit of modification and a little filling where necessary, I managed to make them playable minis. My gutter runners are regular clan rats of the older variety, with the punching daggers shaved off of an arm so that they can be used where the shields would have been. Overall, not a huge project, but they look unique, and if I feel like running some Legends rats, I have them. The same thing goes with my sensor bearers. One of the other early ones, back when Kill Team was a points value instead of a specific list, I built a scout. And this scout is actually using one of the Dark Vengeance cultists' shotguns. Pretty cool. And it took a little bit of extra effort to shave it down to the right shape, but overall, it's a unique model. And then we get to some of the heavier duty changes. I built a Castellan Crow before the plastic version came out. I used several different kits, and I found a great angle to have him so he's actually in a high wind sort of storm where he has to lean forward just a little bit, and all of the different wavy things with him are all kind of lined up. One of these days, I'll actually get him painted. And then my Death Guard model, I needed a Praetor for Horus Heresy, but I wanted to have Scythe instead of an axe. So, with a little bit of modification and a Tyranid Scything Talon, I managed to make a scythe. And then one of the fun things I did was I put a Grey Seer on top of an Ogre. I really like the way that it came out, and it's on the right base size, even though it looks huge comparative to the base. But sometimes you just gotta have some fun with it. And then we come to bashing. Kit bashing is one step further, where instead of using a few extra bits here and there, you actually take full kits and just bash them together. A little bit of this came from the bits mods, but this is one step further, or one step back. You take your pick. So here we take some Burnaboys and we turn them into Ludas. Just adding a few extra looted weapons in different areas, and now they are not just Burnas. And if I want to run them as more Ludas, I can. Plus, they're unique. That's the whole point of all of this. I built 4 mech guns and a Defcopta out of a single mech gun and truck kit. I'm pretty happy about how those came out. I took a bunch of random extra bits from my Eldari, and I kitbashed with 3 jet bikes, 3 Skyrunners. Originally, I had them set up to be an Autarch, a Farseer, and a Warlock, but now one of those options doesn't exist. So I'll use them where I need them, but they are different enough from my normal jet bikes to be representative of a character. And then we start getting into the bad kit bashes. Oh no. With my Jezzails. Before Scaventide came out, and we had new Jezzail models, I kitbashed some Admech weaponry with some clan rats and plague bunks, and made my own unit of 3 Jezzails. These required quite a bit of modification because I had to make the Admech firearms line up with the shields and the plague monks. But overall, they came out really cool. But I am combining 40k and Age of Sigmar here. Oh no. Oh no. And what's worse is I made some Exodites. And oh boy, how dare I put Eldari on top of dinosaurs? Am I right? But I mean, I love the way they came out. And I have three more still to make. And you bet I'm gonna make some more. I love these shining spears. And then we're gonna take it one step further. And I actually used some 40k bits and some Age of Sigmar bits to actually model my own Master Molder. If you've never seen the video where I actually made this Master Molder, you might not actually believe that part of this model is from Tyranid bits. No, I'm not just talking about the claw at the top of his man catcher thing. I mean, part of his body is actually Tyranid bits. I used quite a bit of different random sizes and pieces from different kits and spare bits and just random assortments and a healthy amount of sprue goo. And I modeled myself my own master molder. But yeah, this the kit bashing is part of the most fun thing you can do in the hobby if you enjoy it. And I mean, weapon swaps do exist. You can Most people are going to enjoy these swaps. The only people I know of that don't are people who want to sell more models. But they're your minis. Do what you want with them and make them your own. I mean, it's such a cool experience to turn a generic model that anyone could build into something that is uniquely yours. Subscribe if you haven't so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.